everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Brooklyn and I made this channel about a year ago, and since it is 2020, I've decided that I would start doing tutorials and different videos where I can explain things to you guys. I can go over what art supplies I use and just talk more about the work that I do. I want to start off by saying thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my channel so far. I appreciate it a lot, and I'm going to be doing a Q&A video, so let's get started. Okay, so the first question asks, what is my favorite art supply and what is my least favorite? So, my favorite art supply is by far Prismacolor pencils. I use these in like 99% of my drawings. They're just my absolute favorite. The colors look amazing. They go on so smooth. You can layer them like crazy. There's almost an infinite amount of layers that you can put on with these. And for what they do, they're not too pricey. So definitely colored pencils are my favorite. So question 2 is, how often do you buy expensive art supplies, and how many cheap art supplies do you have compared to expensive art supplies? Well, I used to buy expensive art supplies a lot. I used to always buy Prismacolors. I used to buy Copic markers. I used to buy all kinds of stuff that were pricey. And, over the last few years, I just saved up, so now I don't really have to buy expensive art supplies as often as I used to, because they usually last me quite a while. Cheap art supplies, I still use cheap art supplies. I have spray paints that come from like Walmart. They're not too crazy expensive. I have basic acrylic paint, just craft paint, maybe like $1 a bottle, real cheap stuff. But then I do also still have the better quality stuff for, if I do a more serious painting or if I do a commission piece, whatever it might be. So I still do have a range. I have cheap art supplies that I'll use to just play around with. And then I also have the more expensive stuff that I do for more serious pieces. So, yeah. So, question 3 asks, what do I enjoy most about art? I'm curious and you're an amazing artist. Also, can I have some tips for a beginner? Well, thank you very much. The thing that I like most about art would definitely be looking back and seeing how much I've improved over time. There's drawings that I've done 2, 3, even 4 years ago that I recently redone, and it just blows my mind, how just crazy different it is, and how much better, how much detail I'm able to put into it, how much my techniques have improved. And I think that's what I like most about art, is just seeing how much better you can be. And I'm looking forward to, seeing how much better I am 2, 3 years from today. So it's something that it's really cool. It's really fun to just look back. So some tips for beginners. I don't really have any technical tips that I can share right now, but the biggest thing is don't give up. Don't listen to people that tell you can't draw. Ignore everybody, because even I get people that tell me that. I've had people throughout school that say, oh, so-and-so is better than you are, and it's just drama. So the first thing you have to do is believe in yourself. You can't give up. You have to keep practicing. You have to be committed to it. You're not going to get good overnight. It's going to take a little bit of time. But over months' time, you will start to see improvements. The one thing that I've always done, and I think a lot of artists have done it as well, is a lot of artists start off by drawing eyes. And I don't know why. It's just something that we've always done. I've probably drawn about 100 eyes. And I still have room for improvement. But I would recommend starting off drawing eyes. Learn the shape of eyes. Learn how to blend, just eyes really just have so much that you can do with them, and you don't really need so much of a reference. I mean, it's good to use a reference, but once you start to learn it, you don't really need a reference for it. So it's definitely a good place to start for beginners, and you'll see changes like really fast with eyes. So I would definitely recommend doing that. Question 4. If you could use one art supply for the rest of your life, what would it be? Well, if you're talking about one art supply versus like a group of supplies like the Prismacolors, if you're talking about just like a brand in general, it would definitely be Prismacolor colored pencils. But if you mean like one specific pencil or one specific pen, it would definitely be these here, the red erasable pencils. And the reason why I would use those is because I like to sketch a lot, and these pencils are really good for sketching. They don't smear. You can start off real light, go back, and refine some of the details, with a little bit more pressure, have it darker. And they're pretty cheap, easy to get a hold of. So I would definitely have to go with these versus like a marker or something. You don't have to worry about anything bleeding through the paper. It's just, these are definitely nice for a lot of different things, and you figure almost every artist has to sketch out an idea for a painting or a drawing or whatever it might be. So these are probably my favorite sketching pencils, just because they don't smear. You could always just use like a regular pencil, but if I had to use one for the rest of my life, I'm going with these. Alright, so the next question is, when did you start art? So, I started art from a very young age. I was probably about 3 years old. I had like little paint sets, I had markers, I had pens, I had pencils, crayons, coloring books, everything that you would get for a child. And it was something that I always enjoyed doing, but I didn't take it seriously because, I was little. But I feel like I've always colored and drew different like little pictures and stuff. And I'm going to say probably around the time I was like 8, between like 8 and 12, I didn't take art too seriously. I kind of stopped drawing for a while, focused more on schoolwork. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with life. And by the time I was in 8th grade, I had a pretty good idea that, art is what I wanted to do. I started doing it more seriously. Once I hit high school, 9th grade to 12th grade, art was my life. I took as many art classes as I possibly could, did as many drawings as I could, and I tried to learn as much as I could. So art's always been part of my life, but I didn't start taking it seriously until about 4 or 5 years ago. Okay, so the next question is, what brand of pencils do you use? So when it comes to drawing pencils, I don't use a specific brand. I'll use pretty much anything as long as there's a good eraser. So what I use most, though, would be the Ticonderoga pencils with the pink erasers. These erasers never seem to get hard. They're just all around really, really decent pencils, and they're cheap. So I use these a lot. I'll use like mechanical pencils, anything. I had these from college, which, I'll use from time to time, especially for graphite drawings. It's not a bad set. I know Prismacolor makes like their own brand of graphite pencils, so I preferred like tins like these for actual graphite drawings. I would recommend the Prismacolor ones, but these ones work just as fine. They're probably a little bit cheaper as well, so yeah, but you can get like tins of pencils pretty much anywhere. Now for colored pencils, I love Prismacolor. Prismacolors are available almost in every art store. You can get them online, Amazon. They have different size packs of them, and they're not too crazy expensive. So Prismacolors are definitely my favorite. The next question is, what type of art do I like to do? And the answer to that is everything. And when I say everything, that's everything that's two-dimensional. 3D art, I'm not a huge fan of. I don't like working with clay. I don't like sculpting things. It's just, I hate the feeling of clay on my hands. I can't stand it. Even working with like cardboard, I hate the texture of everything like that. I can't stand it. So definitely everything that's two-dimensional I enjoy. So I enjoy oil painting, acrylic painting, watercolor, colored pencils, marker, graphite, all kinds of stuff. The one thing that I don't really care for is charcoal. So this is one of my least favorite art supplies. The charcoal. I have a whole bag of it just from college and stuff, and I'll probably never really use it. I hate the feeling of it. I like the look of it, like it looks amazing, but I can't stand just the messiness of it, and it just goes everywhere, and the feeling of it. What is your favorite drawing that you've ever done? So that's a really hard question. Unfortunately, some of my favorites were gifts, so I no longer have them in my possession. But if you go to my Instagram page, you can see I did Venom, which I believe was one of the first posts that I put on my Instagram. That was by far one of my favorites. I did that just over a year ago, I believe. I like the one that I did of Pennywise. There's so many that I've done recently that I really enjoy. Now, I do have one here that I can show you guys, like, on video, which is Baby Yoda. And this was one of my most recent ones, which I really, really, really enjoy. He was really fun to draw. I have the time-lapse video on my YouTube channel, which I'll leave the link down in the description. If you want to go check it out, leave a like. It would be much appreciated. Also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, I will leave the links down below to both of my Instagrams. So go ahead, go check them out. Tell me what you think, leave a like, follow, and I look forward to seeing you guys in my upcoming videos. Please leave a comment on this video. Let me know what you think. Tell me what I can do to improve. Tell me what kind of videos you'd like to see. And let's make 2020 an awesome year.